Hey, what is going on, everyone? And as always, I am Norbert and I wish to welcome you to another video. In this video, we're going to learn about CSS Flexbox. Now, notice I never did a video about CSS Flexbox, and I'm also considering doing one on CSS Grid. So if you never used Flexbox or you just want to know what Flexbox is, I'm going to show you. We're going to do a quick introduction about Flexbox. This is not an entire course. I do have courses on Flexbox and Grid integrated within the course, of course. And yeah, within this video, we're going to use the most often used properties of CSS Flexbox, and we'll also see where Flexbox shines the most. Now, with this being said, before we get into the video, hey, if you like my videos, then hit that thumbs up button. It really helps out the channel. And also share the content with others like-minded like you. Also, if you aren't already subscribed, then please consider subscribing to my channel and hit that notification bell in order to get notified when I post new content like this. And as always, if you have any kind of suggestions or questions, then please consider leaving them in the comment section below. So with this being said, let's jump into the video. Okay, within here, let's start with shift exclamation mark for boilerplate. And also I do have everything that we do here in a blog post. It's in the description below, so if you wish to check it out, or if you just wish to follow along, then just go to the blog post, copy everything into your files in the HTML and CSS file. As you can see, I have everything in here, everything that we're going to go through: flex, display flex, flex direction, flex wrap, justify content, and justify items. Okay, so we do have everything in here. Now let's get back to what we are going to do. So let's just start out with a boilerplate, and within here I'm going to copy everything in. The HTML is extremely simple. I'm just going to copy it in and go over it very quickly. Also, let's link up here our style sheet, so style.css, and I'm also going to create our style sheet, but I'm not going to touch it before we don't explain it. So style.css. Now let's go back to our index.html. I just have an h1. After that we have a section. Within the section we have our h2 and this parent container. Okay, now in this div, which has the class of flex container, this is what we're going to work with, has 6 flex items. Now all of these items are momentarily displayed. Let's also open this up. Forgot to open it up. Open with live server. All of these items are momentarily displayed like this, like in a list. So what we wish to do is to display them as flex. But first things first, let's go now into our CSS. I'm going to do a couple of general settings. So these don't influence our Flexbox, but I just wish to have them in here. Now what we have here is, let me actually delete this. We don't need this. I just did a general reset, which is star. This selects everything and resets it with the margin 0 and padding 0. Also the box sizing is set to border box. Now I just set here a font family to Lucians, Sans, and also a general font size of 16 pixels, and max width for our body to 950 pixels. You can see it cuts down here, and also margins auto, which just displays everything into the center. Now for our H1, we have a text line to the center, a font size of 80 pixels, font weight of bold. As you can see, a margin top and bottom of 2 rem, left and right 0, and also background color of blue, RGB blue, and a color of orange. The H2 has a 1 rem all over, so top, bottom, left and right, and text align to the center. And as I said, I also have courses on HTML, CSS, and also JavaScript. We'll leave a link in the description below if you wish to check them out. Now let's go to our props. Let's go to our content. Boom. Let's go to our class of Flexbox container. Which have it in here. And I'm just going to target this. So copy it, go into our CSS. And let's say, actually let's actually keep the format that I have in my blog post. So I'm actually targeting the ID, and within that ID we're just doing a couple of settings. So I'm setting background color for the container, a bit of box shadow down here, up here. Also, if we make this larger, we'll see it has an all-around box shadow. And then the items have just a bit of margin padding, 1 rem, a background color of this RGB color, bluish RGB, and a border radius of 5 pixels, a text shadow, darker text shadow, so they pop out a bit, and also a box shadow of Well, it's a grayish box shadow, as you can see. Now let's go to Flexbox. What does Flexbox do? So if I would now target our parent, and within here the container, and let's just see we want to display it as Flex, that's all we need to do is display as Flex, and that's it. As soon as we hit save, now on a normal basis and in the default settings, flexes into a row direction. Okay, now this is where our flex direction comes in. So if you wish to change the flex direction, actually let's remain in this direction, but let's reverse it. So what we could do is type in flex direction, and we could do now a row reverse. Okay, and this will just reverse the items. You can see our items start now with 6 instead of 1. Now if you wish to flex it in a column direction, then we could do something like flex direction column. And this will flex our items in the column direction. And if we wish to switch around now again our items, then we could do a flex direction with a column reverse. Okay, and this will reverse the items. Now let's switch it back to flex direction row. And next up, let's talk about flex wrap. The problem here is when I try to squeeze this container together, you will see our items, boop, 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 they fall out of the container. Okay, now we can solve this by typing in flex wrap, which will wrap around, which actually make the items wrap around the containers or remain within the container. So if I would type in here wrap, hit save, our items will now remain within the container. We could also do a wrap reverse, flex wrap reverse, which would just, I need to make this a bit smaller. Now it will consider that the bottom is the main line and everything will wrap to the top. Okay, so if I had more than one item, you can see here it will now go on 3 lines, but the first item will start down here instead of up here. I can also do flex wrap no wrap. We just said it's the default setting, and now they will no longer wrap. But let's just leave our flex wrap as wrap. And also let me give now a height of 300 pixels to the container itself. But because for now our container didn't have a specific height, it just took up the height that was necessary for the items. Now I can show you justify content. And what justify content does, it aligns the items along the main axis. Now we have cross axis and main axis, okay? And what this will do, so let's type in here comment of justify content. Now let's start up with justify content to the flex start. And with flex start, items are packed to the start of the container. So you can now type in justify content, flex start. And we also have justify content with just start. And the difference is that these items are now packed to the right direction of the container. So there is a difference. And it's the same thing for flex end and also end. Okay? Now moving on, let's take a look at justify content to the center of the container. And this will push all of the items into the center of the container. But once again, along the main axis, okay? So around here. Now the next couple of most used cases are actually justify content with space between, which will evenly distribute the items along the first line. Okay, they will always maintain space between the items. Then we'll have justify content with space around, where items are displayed equally with equal space around them. Okay, so if I hit save, you see it will have equal space around the items. And last but not least is justify content with space evenly. Now with this, items are distributed so that the space between two items is equal. Okay, now the last property I want to show you is align items. Okay, the type is into a comment. Let me put this into a comment. Okay, by default, align items are stretched. So let me go in here. Let's change the alignment of the items by typing in center. Now, align items as opposite to justify content are aligned to the cross axis of the container. Okay, so on the horizontal line. So if I type in center, we'll see all of the items are trying to align to the center cross axis of the container. Now we also have baseline, so align items baseline, which will align the items to the baseline of the container, which is up here. Then we'll have flex, so align items as flex end, which will align all the items down to the flex end of the container. We also have align items flex start, which will align the items to the start of the container, which is up here. And then we have the default setting, which was align items stretch. Okay, and this will just stretch out the items. Okay, so that's pretty much it for Flexbox. If you want to learn more, I have different videos on using Flexbox. Also, I have courses, as I said. Hey, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy my content, then subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell in order to get notified when I post new videos. And with this being said, catch you next time. Bye-bye.